Yes, Rangers are taking on the city of Edinburgh. Not the whole city of Edinburgh in one go, but certainly both the teams from the city of Edinburgh in completely different fields, though, not all on the football pitch. And we'll talk obviously about that. And we'll talk about the ridiculousness of the Hibernian fans. But before I start this video and talk, I want us to say one thing. I utterly condemn any form of racism. I utterly condemn any form of discrimination. And I utterly condemn any comments that cast aspersion on someone or ridicule someone's gender or whatever. I utterly condemn those things. Right, so let's get on with it. First of all, let's deal with the football side of things before we talk about the ridiculousness that is Hibernian football, because we are fast becoming as ridiculous as the other team that wear green and white in Scotland. It just seems that wearing green and white must do something to your brain. It must just make it go weird or something. I don't know. It's obviously not good. So out there, guys, here's a top tip for you. Never wear green and white. Never wear anything green. I suppose white's okay because the Rangers away top's white, but not green and white. Just don't do it. Don't want anything green either, because green's a horrible colour. It's like bogey or snot or just not great. Anyway, as we know, Rangers will take on Hearts in the Scottish Cup semi-final in April, with the 4 clubs that involved getting together and meeting with the SFA to discuss arrangements for those games. Now, as we know, the National Stadium holds just over 56,000. And last time that there was a semi-final, Hearts got 20,000 tickets. Rangers apparently got more. Now, according to reports in the media, it is claimed that Hearts will do everything in their power to fight to get a 50-50 split of the tickets for the Scottish Cup semi-final against Rangers. Now, I can understand why, as a club, Hearts would want to get as many tickets as possible for their fans. I get that. 100% understand that. You know, as a club, it's your duty to best represent your fans, to give your fans the opportunity to come and watch you, to be the voice of your fans with the governing bodies. However, to split the tickets equally between Hearts and Rangers for a semi-final is a ridiculous concept. Now, I know what you'll say is, oh yeah, well, you would say that you're a Rangers fan. Well, yeah, okay, fair enough, but let's just look at a little bit of evidence around this. Now, obviously, I understand that Tynecastle on the whole holds a lot less fans than Ibrox. Get that. But Hearts can't even sell their stadium out on a regular basis. That's the first thing. Now, Hearts' average attendance this season is 18,284. Their maximum attendance this season is 18,936, which is less than the 20,000 tickets they got last time. So that's the first thing. So there's the first piece of evidence. So let's just remember that, shall we? Let's remember that those facts. Now, let's evaluate that against the fact that Tynecastle holds just short of 20,000 tickets, 20,000 people. Okay, yet their highest attendance, is nowhere near that 20,000. Okay. Now, if you look at the vast majority of games that Hearts take part in, apart from the odd game against the Old Firm or the Edinburgh Derby, it's never sold out. There's always loads of empty seats. In fact, I'm sure I remember last time we played there, loads of empty seats. So, okay, now let's compare that, shall we, with Ibrox. Ibrox, as we know, holds just over 50,000 supporters, which is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best grounds in Europe. That's the first thing. Now, let's look at Rangers' average attendance this season. So the average attendance for Rangers this season is 49,125. The minimum, not the maximum, the minimum attendance for Rangers this season was 46,931. Now, let's evaluate that again against one of the away games this season where we were given 500 tickets. I think it was the Aberdeen game, off the top of my head. I might be wrong on that, where we received 40,000 applications for 500 tickets. Now, the concept of splitting equally the tickets between Hearts and Rangers, if you look at that evidence there, average attendances, Hearts can't fill their stadium, they can't even get past 18,000 fans. Why would they want 50% of the tickets other than to have loads of empty seats at Hampden to decrease the amount of noise Rangers can make. It is an utterly ridiculous idea. Now, no doubt the SFA will go along with this because we know the SFA are utterly ludicrous and do not know what they're doing. But to split it 50-50 is just an absolutely stupid idea. Hearts, like I said, I would love to talk to somebody from Hearts and say to them, explain to me how you think this is a good idea. Explain to me why you think this is fair, that a club that has an average its average attendance of over 49,000 this year should split equally with you, who have an average attendance of 18,000, can't even fill your ground on a regular basis. Why would we split tickets equally with you? To me, it just seems absolutely ridiculous. Utterly stupid. Utterly stupid. It really is ridiculous for Hearts to want this. And I think hopefully the SFA will throw it out and give Rangers the majority of the tickets because we've got more fans than them. And, fans that deserve to go and watch the semi-final. It's just stupid. Plain stupid. Okay, so let's deal with the other half of Edinburgh now. We're having an Edinburgh Slagfest. Let's continue with our Edinburgh Slagfest. But obviously the green and white side, obviously even more ridiculous because let's face it, when you wear green and white, it naturally makes you a little bit stupid, I think, to be honest with you. Now, Hibs will apparently slash the number of tickets allocated to Celtic and Rangers fans in this season, if there are any more games at Easter Road between Celtic and Rangers and Hibs, and obviously next season as well. This is in response to perceived bad behaviour from both sets of Old Firm supporters. Hibernian Chiefs confirmed that they would be reducing the away tickets, and they slammed the abhorrent behaviour and chanting from some supporters in Scotland, obviously targeting the Old Firm. This was in response to a letter that was written by Hibs fans, to the club. A statement that was issued said, over recent years, supporters' unacceptable conduct has become the rife in Scotland, whether that be the use of pyrotechnics, sectarianism, objects being thrown onto the field of play, or through other actions. This is simply not good enough. Understanding the behaviour of certain sections of Hibernian FC's own support has not been good enough at times this season. The club has been taking the strongest possible action against those who behave in an unacceptable manner, working with the police. This is what the club had to say. Now, this was in response to a letter that was written by Hibs fans, Chiefs, stating and slating Glasgow Rangers fans for their behaviour during the cup quarter final on Sunday, slamming Rangers' alleged sectarian chanting, slamming Rangers' behaviour, etc., etc. Now, it's worth remembering this is coming from a fan base who, on the day, let's deal with this first of all, were throwing things onto the pitch. The referee, I saw at least bring at least one item, a vape, in this case, across the fourth official that had been thrown at a Rangers player by a Hibernian fan. There was reports of other objects being thrown at Rangers players by Hibernian fans. In the recent derby between Hearts and Hibs, there is clear footage of Hibs fans throwing pies, AirPods, why the hell you throw your earphones, I don't know, at Lawrence Shankland. Again, their fans throwing things. This is the same fans, the fans that sang derogatory songs about Queen Elizabeth and her death, about the death of a grandma, the death of an old lady, and glorifying the death of an old lady, the death of a mother, the death of a grandmother, the death of a human being being glorified by a fan base. Now, for them to come out and condemn Rangers chanting, Rangers behaviour is utterly ridiculous and utterly pathetic. Now, let's just cycle back a moment. Do we remember at the start of the season, Hibs coming to Ibrox? Yes, we do. Do we remember them mocking and leaving stickers around, mocking the Ibrox disaster, mocking the dead of the Ibrox disaster, including comments that the amount of people who died in the Ibrox disaster was not enough Rangers fans who died? Now, for their fans to come out and condemn our fans for their behaviour, you know what? Let he is without sin cast the first stone. And in their case, for them to come out and say this and do this is utterly ludicrous. And I utterly condemn Hibs and as a club and I condemn their fans for their ridiculous behaviour, and I condemn them completely for trying to put it all onto my club, onto our club. Now, I recognise that some of our fans can be idiots. I get that. Every fan base throughout Europe has some fans who can be idiots. That's just the nature of the game. But for Hibs to do this is utterly ludicrous. Hibs fans, in my opinion, have behaved equally, if not a whole lot worse than any Old Firm fans. And I even include that lot from across the city in this as well. So I would say to Hibs fans, shut up, keep your opinions to yourselves. No one's really interested. Sort out your own house first, because glorifying people dying is absolutely disgusting. And you're the ones who've been doing it this season, not us. So deal with it first before you start condemning us for perceived bad behaviour. Utterly ludicrous, utterly ridiculous. In addition, the cutting of tickets to Old Firm teams by other teams in Scotland, including Hibs, is really, I think, as my mate Damien Hendry put it, cutting their nose off to spite their face. It is really ridiculous, utterly stupid. I mean, they don't even sell their own ground out. I mean, you go back to that cup quarter. It was a cup quarter final against Hibs. How many empty seats? It looked like a supermarket produce department at closing time. It was utterly ridiculous. The amount of empty green seats was like a sea of empty green crates in Asda, Tesco's, Lidl, Aldi, whatever shop you shop in. It looked ridiculous. So for them to cut the tickets that were sold to away fans, in particular Rangers and Celtic fans who are well known for bringing the biggest away support, is only going to damage them financially, and is a ridiculous decision by them, an utterly stupid decision. Now, let's talk a bit of Europa League. Now, on Thursday, Rangers face Benfica with a chance of progressing to the quarter-finals of the Europa League, and we'll obviously build up to that on Thursday with the match day news and look in a bit more detail into that game. Now, UEFA, Europe's governing body, are apparently bracing themselves for an extremely challenging possibility. Their biggest fear, apparently, is that Rangers and Liverpool make it to the Europa League Final in Dublin. Now, Croke Park, which will host the game, has an 82,000 seat capacity, and could be used as a fan zone, right? But apparently they're worried that this could not be enough to accommodate every single person who could come to Dublin without a ticket for the game on Wednesday, May the 22nd. The final, which will be at the Aviva Stadium, that does have a great chance of a number of fans turning up, with Liverpool and Rangers being such widely supported teams, not only in Britain, in England, and in Scotland, but also in Ireland as well. There is a huge risk of massive numbers of fans turning up, and the police and the officials being unable to accommodate and control that amount of fans. His comments were the following. This was Theodore Theoridis of UEFA said that one of the biggest challenges for us this year could be the Europa League final under certain conditions because of the potential teams that could qualify. Which is interesting. Obviously, it would be great. We'd all love. I think we'd all love a. Let's face it, we would all love to have a Liverpool Rangers final. He said, under certain conditions, because of the potential teams that could qualify, this might end up with being the most challenging for us. We know they will bring a number of supporters without tickets, and then there is an issue of potential public viewing venues. We have already reserved Croke Park as a potential public viewing venue, but that could not be enough. There are a couple of pairings. I won't speculate on the names, but you are clever enough to work it out. Obviously, he means here Liverpool and Rangers. That would be extremely challenging to find ways to accommodate everybody that will be present for the game. We are working on this already, together with the local authorities and also Football Supporters Europe. If we do not get one of those scenarios, we will also go to the supporters of the clubs involved to find the best solution. The biggest problem we have now is whether Croke Park would be big enough, because we think we would need more alternatives for public viewing for the people who would be in Dublin. It's not an easy operation, and it's just, for me, a couple of scenarios which would make it extremely complicated, especially with clubs who already have a large fan base on the island of Ireland, Liverpool and Rangers. But we were working on it, and we'll involve the fan bases as well. We'll have to see who gets to the semis, and then we will start working with them as well. Obviously, UEFA are very much afraid of a Liverpool Rangers final. Two huge teams going head to head in Dublin would be a headache for them. Look, I would love to see that. We all love to see a Liverpool Rangers final. I think it'd be absolutely fascinating. And I certainly don't think it would be anywhere near as one-sided as the Rangers Liverpool games were last year in the Champions League. So, yes, I know Liverpool are an awesome team. Yes, I know it's Jurgen Klopp's year, and they seem to be Jurgen Klopp's last year, and they seem to be playing like a team possessed because of it. But look, it would be absolutely fascinating, and I do accept that it could be a bad, a real, bad state of affairs for the city of Dublin. These two teams are massive, absolutely huge, and would bring huge amounts of supporters. Obviously Rangers very heavily followed in the north, Liverpool very heavily followed in the south, etc., etc. So, look, it is realistically going to be a potentially huge game and a potential headache for UEFA. And I certainly, hope that this is a headache that the Rangers and Liverpool can obviously give UEFA. But we've obviously got to get across the first stage, obviously these quarterfinals, quarterfinals before that, obviously the game against Benfica on Thursday, which will be absolutely, huge, will be absolutely massive. It's a game we've got to win. Obviously, Ibrox will be rocking. We need to go at it from minute one. We need to go after them from minute one. They are beatable. They are very, very much beatable. We saw, didn't we, on last Thursday, how this is not the unbelievable team that it was being made out to be. They did win at the weekend. They won 3-1 over Estoril at the weekend with goals from Leonardo, Guvella, and Gokku, who didn't obviously feature in that game on Thursday. So it's interesting. Be interested to see what team Benfica select for the game on Thursday. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in the video today. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, if you can smash the sub, that would be utterly phenomenal. Look, apologies for the lack of lives this week. Just because I'm finding things a little bit hard at the moment, struggling with a few things at the moment, guys. So that's why. I do apologise for any inconvenience, guys, but just finding things a little bit tricky at this moment in time personally. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Thanks for all your support. It's utterly appreciated. Please smash that sub. Obviously, smash the like on the way out, as always. One of the things I ask you. And the second thing is always remember, please never forget, we are the people.